Forget tarps. This World War II fabric beats everything modern gear can offer. Most survival gear fails when the weather gets mean. Wind finds the seams, rain sneaks in, plastic cracks. But during World War II, armies bet lives on a fabric that didn't rip, didn't soak through, and didn't quit. This wasn't hype. This was war-tested material science built under pressure, and, honestly, it still humiliates most modern tarps today. If you value real preparedness over shiny gear, you're in the right place. And if you want more forgotten survival knowledge like this, hit subscribe now before algorithms bury history again. Why World War II didn't trust tarps. Plastic tarps feel tough until they aren't. They tear loudly. They flap like sails. Cold makes them brittle. Heat makes them stretch. World War II planners knew one failure could mean exposure, infection, or death. So they leaned on fabric, not film. The answer was densely woven cotton canvas treated with waxes and oils and in elite cases, a tightly spun cotton known today as Ventile. These fabrics weren't designed to look waterproof. They became waterproof when conditions turned hostile. That distinction matters. Instead of relying on coatings that crack or peel, World War II fabric relied on physics. When rain hit, the cotton fibers swelled, the weave tightened, water slowed to a crawl, wind lost its bite, and unlike plastic, the material stayed quiet, flexible, and breathable. That's not nostalgia. That's engineering. What made this fabric different? World War II waterproof fabric worked because it was overbuilt in the right ways. The cotton fibers were longer and stronger than modern fast-produced cloth. The weave was insanely tight, in some cases over 100 threads per inch. That density gave it strength without bulk. Then came the treatment. Paraffin waxes and natural oils were melted into the fabric. Not sprayed on, infused. The result was a material that shed rain, resisted sparks, blocked wind, and could be repaired in the field with heat and friction. A small tear didn't destroy it. You rubbed it, re-waxed it, kept moving. Why pilots trusted it with their lives? Well, this fabric wasn't just for tents and packs. It was actually issued to World War II pilots flying over those freezing oceans. Their immersion suits were made from this cotton, mainly because, rubber cracked and synthetics just didn't exist yet. Here's the wild part. When this fabric got soaked, it actually sealed tighter. Water pressure made it more waterproof, not less. That bought pilots precious time in near-freezing water. Sometimes it was the difference between rescue and disappearance. Modern testing later showed this fabric could resist heavy rain for hours while still allowing moisture vapor to escape. Breathable, waterproof, silent, durable. That combination, honestly, is still pretty rare. Strength without the weight. Now, there's a common myth that old materials were always heavy. Not this one. Compared to thick plastic tarps, World War II canvas and Ventile-style cotton offered superior tear resistance at similar or even lower weight. Plastic, you see, stretches under load. Cotton distributes force. When wind hits a tarp, stress concentrates at the grommets and edges. But when wind hits this fabric, the load spreads across the weave. That's why World War II shelters stayed standing in storms that shredded modern sheet plastic. This fabric didn't fight the elements. It absorbed them, adapted, and held. Fire resistance nobody talks about. Here's something survival catalogs won't tell you. Waxed World War II canvas doesn't melt. Plastic does. When exposed to sparks or embers, this fabric chars slowly instead of dripping molten material onto skin. In cold weather camps, that mattered. Near engines, heaters, or open flames, it mattered even more. A shelter that won't turn into burning plastic confetti is not a luxury. It's survival logic. Why modern gear abandoned it? So if this fabric was so good, why did it disappear? Speed and cost. Synthetic tarps are cheap to make and lighter on paper. They look impressive in packaging, but they're disposable by design. World War II fabric was built to last years, not seasons. Manufacturing tightly woven cotton takes time. Treating it properly takes skill. Repairing it requires knowledge, not replacement. Modern markets don't reward that. Survival does. How this applies today? Well, you don't need a museum piece to use this lesson. Look for heavy cotton canvas. Wax it properly. Use it for ground sheets, shelters, packs, and tool wraps. Learn to maintain it. Reproof it with heat. Repair it with needle and thread. In cold, wet, windy conditions, this material outperforms plastic in silence, durability, and reliability. For long-term survival setups, it's not even close. WWII didn't bet on gear that looked good. It bet on gear that kept working when everything else failed. The real survival lesson. The biggest takeaway isn't the fabric itself, it's the mindset. WWII survival gear was designed under real consequences. No influencer reviews, no second chances. Materials were chosen for failure resistance, not convenience. That's the code. If your gear can't be repaired, trusted, and relied on in bad weather, it's decoration. This fabric proved that real preparedness doesn't age out. It just gets forgotten. And forgotten knowledge is the most dangerous loss of all. If this opened your eyes, subscribe to History's Survival Code and share this with someone who still thinks plastic tarps are the final answer. History already solved these problems. We just have to listen.